Sign up today for a 7-day free trial at alerts.chartguys.com. Everyone checking in, we're going to do our usual names. Tomorrow I'll do some of the altcoins based on votes by members, but we're doing some laying down technical analysis today. I think that's a first ever in 4 years of the YouTube channel. So a historic event. Congrats to the bulls. We got a breakout. We're going to look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, BNB. We knew this was the most likely scenario based on the daily time frame. Based on the daily equilibrium, we were even able to pin it down to a certain window when we knew the break would be coming. We said Sunday or Monday. Sunday got the bull break. I personally lucked out on my timing. I'll go into that a little bit, and it's another note on the narrative between market buys and limit buys. But first things first, congrats to the bulls. Where are we looking from here? Weekly time frame continues its breakout. Bitcoin has not consolidated on the weekly time frame since 3,858. We have not lost the higher low every single candlestick pattern in over 2 months since that has taken place. So the next resistance zone, now that we have broken 84.88, we're looking at 9,000 and then 9,948. And that level is close enough to 10,000 that we can just call it 9,000 and 10,000 psychological resistances from where we stand. I think more and more people are converting their beliefs that the bottom has been found. We're not going under 3,000 anytime soon, in my opinion. And the question is, how much upside can we see? That's pretty much the bottom line. Can we head back to all-time highs? Do we need to see weekly consolidation? And of course, at this point, we know weekly consolidation is not coming unless we lose the daily uptrend. And at this point, the daily uptrend is pretty safe. Last higher low on Bitcoin, I'm going to call it 78.81. This little stutter step where the bulls showed up after very brief consolidation. And that was the last video where I said pretty much ideal scenario, fail breaking resistance, form a lower high, come down, we'll play off the exponential support, we'll be able to enter positions, put our stop losses below the previous higher low, and then take it from there with a very easily well-defined risk to reward on that trade. And that's exactly what I attempted to do. I've been on vacation, hanging out at the beach with friends, and not really watching intently. So what I did is I woke up yesterday morning, Sunday morning, and I looked at this 4-hour time frame and I said, okay, we have lost the 4-hour higher low pattern, which means we zoom out to the daily and we now look for another daily higher low and we look for a target of the exponential moving average as support. So what I did when I first woke up, let's say it's 9 a.m. Eastern, I placed orders and I couldn't decipher who was going to be stronger, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin. I didn't have any clear indications, so I put limit orders for all three equal-sized positions. So I put in my orders, scaled them down, 3 orders on each, 3 Litecoin bid, 3 Ethereum bid, 3 Bitcoin bid, looking for that higher low to be set. Went out, hung out at the beach for a few hours, had some beers, and didn't think twice about cryptocurrency. I then came in the middle of the day just to check on things, perhaps go to the bathroom, and what I saw was none of my orders had filled. And at that point, we saw Bitcoin start to shift the hourly, and it was right here. And I saw this solid move, and I said, okay, well, all my bids are under 7881, and we've just seen a solid move. I don't think those bids are potentially going to fill. The backstory is, I know we're in a very bullish daily pattern. I know we're going to break soon. I'm very bullish, and I think we're going to break bullish. And so I said to myself, okay, well, I can either sit here with my limit orders set, or I can say, forget this. I want to go back out to the beach and not have to worry about this. I want a position in this pattern. So I market bought all of those positions in Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, and less than 2 hours later, we got the breakout. Now, obviously, I lucked out as far as timing goes and being able to, number one, get in those positions, and number two, to see the breakout shortly thereafter, so I was pretty much in the green the entire time on those positions. But what my plan was is I didn't go all in, so I went in with about 60% of my account, and I would have had that cash if we did pull back further on the daily time frame. I would have averaged in, and again, my stop loss levels were very clearly defined. So market buying ensured that I had positions, because the last thing that I want to do is be positionless in a very bullish daily setup. So I easily paid those market fees. Someone commented on the other video and they had a good description of, don't miss picking up the dollars. No, what was it? Now I'm going to blow their quote. Don't miss picking up dollars by skipping over pennies. Something along those lines in terms of picking up money, but not letting small fees inhibit big positions. So this was the kind of scenario where what I paid in fees obviously was made back many, many times over on this big bull move follow through. And if I had only tried for limit orders and I didn't want to pay the market fees, I would have missed out on this move and as far as day trading positions goes. So I did end up scaling it out of a little bit of my position to allow myself to travel and not really have to worry about anything and not be glued to the computer screen. And I am currently still in a bunch of positions and moving my stop losses up because I want to ride them as long as possible. Bitcoin, the most important support level, is down here at 86.11, and we had a perfect bounce off 5-minute oversold conditions. Remember, the first 5-minute oversold from all time or from a bull move, and look at it happen twice. Pull back to 86.80 yesterday. 5-minute RSI touched right at 30, instantly into a $180 bounce. And then we had a bigger dump today. 5-minute RSI got oversold. When we were down at the low of this candlestick, that 5-minute RSI was well oversold. And then from there, 86.11, just like that, we're up $200 on that bounce recovery. So with where we stand right now, in the short term, the bulls are attempting to stay above this little hourly higher low pattern. We have another support level here at 87.18 that the bulls want to maintain. And it's just 89.30 and 9,000 as resistance levels that the bulls are trying to take out tonight. Pretty healthy consolidation overall, as long as 5-minute oversold conditions continue to be bought up. That's favorable for the bulls. And it's the kind of thing, again, where you have three scenarios. If you're entering 5-minute oversold conditions, number one, you're taking all your profit for a short-term bounce. You're locking in your 2% gain, and that's it. You're moving on. Number two, you're getting in the oversold bounce. You're setting your stop loss at break even, and you're hoping we get the kind of follow through that we've seen today. Or number three, you're exiting half of your position for profit and putting the other half of your position at break even and hoping for some follow through. So a lot of comfortability for the bulls overall. Little hourly uptrend and heading up towards resistance. Ethereum had a bull break of resistance of 264.77, but as I pointed out in recent videos, because of the distance between this resistance and 281, it's unlikely to break both of those levels at once, whereas Bitcoin's resistance is low 83 and high 83. We were right there taking out both levels instantly. So a big difference in that setup, and we have a double top, 281.77 and 279.55 now to be watching. Daily uptrend, we're going to call anything above 245.66 as a higher low. Looking at the hourly chart, we had a recovery from the bounce this morning. I'd say the hourly higher low is 266.50, and here's the bulls making their way up to 279.55. And looking at the 5-minute time frame, RSI down to oversold, and then significant bounce for the bulls from those levels. So ETH BTC, I'm still keeping an eye on this chart because as we saw on this 3-day bull move, it was a huge move for Ethereum and big time follow through. And this is still very healthy contained consolidation. I'm still watching the daily lower high pattern 3277. We've got another lower high at 3187. And this is the kind of setup where I'm keeping an eye on Ethereum because sometime in the next week of trading, we can very easily see some big red or big green days put together. Maybe not this significant, but some big green days to head back into the 33, 34 area, which is why, again, I want some Ethereum in my holdings for when this higher low has been established. Looking at it on a weekly time frame, we're looking for a weekly higher low to be set. Litecoin bulls had an explosion. Look at that volatility on that 1 hourly candlestick. 122 down to 110, a 10% pullback, and then just like that, an 8% bounce. So all kinds of great volatility for Litecoin. Litecoin's hourly higher lows, we've got our most recent one at 114.03. And again, you want to determine what your time frames are. If you're a bull in this trade, are you going on the daily uptrend? And losing the daily uptrend is when you're going to exit. Are you going on 4-hour uptrends? Are you going on hourly uptrends? That's all going to be important in terms of your decision making. So at this point, we're looking up at 122 key resistance on Litecoin. Weekly time frame, where's our next resistance after 122? I'm looking at 126.69 and 127.95. So a couple levels in the upper 120s, but overall, bulls very comfortable. And we don't have a little daily higher low where Bitcoin and Ethereum formed one yesterday. The last daily higher low is 84.75. So bulls still extremely comfortable here as well. And looking at LTC, BTC, clearly the bulls have shown up in a big way the last 4 days, double bottom and now breaking the lower highs. So this is a daily trend change underway. Looking at the weekly time frame, we're certainly going to anticipate a lower high compared to 1892 is still going to form here. But the more space that the bulls can put together, the more likely to get this trend back in favor of the bulls. So if we top out here, then we can very easily drop to a lower low on the weekly. But say if we make this move up to 15 or 16, that creates way more space for the bulls to form a weekly higher low and try and change the weekly momentum back in favor of the bulls. So I'm liking the setup for all of these names. And again, trying to pinpoint who's going to be the strongest can be hit or miss, which is why in this instance, with everybody in such similar setups on the daily timeframes, I took all three, which is not something I generally do. Usually I'll stick to one or two, but not in this instance. So XRP, same story where we broke resistance of 37, but that next resistance is all the way up at 48, nowhere nearby. So the bulls are still in control, but in terms of getting continuation over the high of 2019, the bulls are still going to have some work to do. Hourly higher low is 418 for the bulls to keep control, and we're looking at 446 and then up to 479 as the next two resistance levels, and certainly seeing correlations with the other charts. And Binance is still strong as well. Binance daily higher low is trying to form at 32.32, but we're going to have to see this inside bar break bullish tomorrow in order to call this our daily higher low. And if it breaks bearish, then our daily higher low has not been set yet. Looking at it on the 4-hour time frame, bulls are trying to see a higher low and head back to the all-time high. So still very strong here as well. Most important short-term support is 32.32, and we'll see if the bulls can hold that level and see continuation. So overall, very bullish in the space. Again, I haven't been tuned in very much the last week into, the crypto Twitter universe and how many people are calling for the bottom being in and lower highs. Just remember what we've always been saying. There's going to be people calling for lower lows and completely missing this bottom and completely missing on great entries. And that, in my opinion, is what is taking place right now. So even if we see weekly consolidation, keep in mind for all these names, we can see weekly consolidation for 2-3 weeks and still be extremely bullish. So even when this temporary top is set, wherever that is, whether it's 9,000 or 13,000, who knows, but whenever that is set, we know that we are going to anticipate healthy weekly consolidation to establish a higher low, and that'll be entry points for a lot of bulls that either missed the bull move or that have taken profit and want to get back in. So again, have those game plans established as always. Cannot stress enough the importance of having a long-term no-touch position as an anti-FOMO position to allow yourself to profit even when you're not in a short-term trade. And if you are not in positions and you want positions, 5-minute, 15-minute RSI levels hitting oversold is great for making those re-entries or initial entries. So that's where we stand overall. I'm going to do those altcoins like I said tomorrow. We'll see if these bulls can keep up this momentum into the week. Keep an eye on the stock market. The U.S. stock market's going to be open for the first time since Friday, 3 days ago, and we're going to see those blockchain names like Riot, perhaps, like GBTC, and these names are going to see significant gap up opens, and there's going to be some good volatility there, so we'll see if the stock world has some opportunity based off of correlations to the cryptocurrency space. Other than that, don't have a whole lot of content here at the end. Had such a good weekend that I didn't take my camera out until the end. Got some botanical garden stuff I'll upload tomorrow, but for now, just a really good experience of being with some friends who are in touch with the cryptocurrency world in a secondary bubble sort of sense. We're the kind of people that check every day and we're very active, and then people who are aware of it and have had positions but aren't as actively into it. So it was cool hanging out with them, and again, just so much appreciation, and just, I was dumbfounded walking back to the beach, where it's the kind of scenario where just the gift of having this opportunity to create the world that we want by being financially independent to a certain degree, or working towards that financial independence, and being able to go on vacation, treat people to a vacation so they don't have to stress about spending money and things like that, and then go home with more money that I left with. It's just, this keeps happening, and the crypto world is responsible for it. I keep going to vacations, and cryptocurrency keeps giving me more gains than what I left with. And that is a very, very comfortable position to be in, and very appreciative for this opportunity and for the lack of stress that these opportunities do present to us. So always a good idea to squeeze in some gratitude there and take a moment and take some deep breaths and realize the opportunity we have at our fingertips. And I appreciate you all watching. I know you'll do some good things out there, and we'll check in tomorrow and see if this bull move can continue. Have a good night, and we'll see you soon.